All right, welcome. So this video is why structure is so necessary. Before we start the actual video, for those of you guys serious on self-improvement who want to take it to the next level, or you just want to become the best of the best at what you do, I'm creating a program called the Academy of Self-Mastery, which is going to be a full in detail program that will teach you how to implement the self-improvement tactics into your life to optimize growth, productivity, and progress towards a specific goal. So if that's something you're interested in, you can request early access by going to my Instagram and sending me a DM saying, hey man, I want early access into the program, and I'll get you sorted from there. Early access gives you a cheaper price and you'll be the first able to join. You'll be able to join before the course goes public, right? So if that is something you're interested in, you can go to my description. The first link in the description will take you to my Instagram. You can just send me a DM right there. But why exactly is structure so important? Why is it so necessary? Why do we need structure in our lives, right? And so for me, at least, creating structure literally skyrocketed my productivity and my consistency. Creating structure in my life made it so that I was able to go from having basically no consistency with things. I was doing the right things every day, but it just randomly throughout the day and without intensity, without focus, right? But with structure, with creating a routine, I was able to, with each block, focus in on what I needed to do completely and utterly so that by the next block, I was able to do the same thing with that specific activity. As well as it increased my productivity because within each block I was able to do more since I wasn't questioning when I was going to do the work, how I was going to do the work, what work I was going to do. It was just very clear, very laid out for me in a structured format. And so therefore I was able to just take that and copy and paste and be like, okay, this is the video for today. I go here at the same time every single day. And so now it's just, I'm here today. What video is it? Not, okay, I think I'm going to record today. What time, what place, where do I go, what video? And then I get there and I'm like trying to put all of that stuff together. You see what the difference is? I know I'm going to go record today. That's a given. I know exactly what time I'm going to record. That's a given. And now it's just, okay, which video do I record? And that's a way easier decision to make than all of the other ones, right? And it also allowed me to progress towards my goals way faster because I was so consistent with it, right? But so I'm going to explain to you why being disorganized and unstructured is actually so bad in the first place, right? The first thing is clutter. If you have clutter all over your space, your mind is going to become cluttered. Your mind is going to be disorganized. If you yourself are disorganized and your space is disorganized, your mind will also be disorganized. And so when it comes to working, when it comes to being more productive, you can't because your brain is so scattered from all of the clutter and all of the bullshit around you. So one thing is you want to create structure in the sense that you want things to be clean, you want things to be organized, you want things to have their place, right? You want to be able to take care of the things that you do because when you take care of your things around you, when you keep your space clean and organized, it keeps a level of stability. And that level of stability and consistency and reliability means that you don't have to stress about nuanced factors. You don't have to stress about, for example, I come here, all of my recording gear is in exactly the same spot exactly every time. It always has its own spot. So when I get here, everything is exactly where it needs to be and I can just set it up so I can start recording. And then when I'm done, I can take it all apart and put it back where it was originally and leave. Right? Meaning there's no inconsistencies, there's no questions, it's just everything is clear, everything is structured, everything is exactly the way it needs to be so that I can just do what I need to do as effectively as possible. So the next thing I have is habits, right? Habits are wildly important for success. The habits that you have will determine where you go, who you become, and what type of things you're able to achieve in your life. But funny enough, one habit you could have is drifting or being unstructured. A habit can be drifting. Drifting itself can be a habit, meaning drifting is essentially the state when your brain is just looking for any little bit of pleasure to entertain or stimulate itself with. So you can create a habit of drifting. So if you are unstructured and you spend your day just all over the place, you actually still do have habits. It's just you have a habit of drifting and you have specific habits within drifting that you fall to. So let's say it's social media, let's say it's drugs, or let's say it's alcohol, right? you have these certain habits that you fall to when you're drifting. And so the alternative is, instead of drifting, we create structure. We create a routine, and we keep ourselves focused on that routine. And so because we keep ourselves focused on that routine, now the habits that we follow are based on that routine. And so we develop within that routine certain habits for certain times so that we are always and consistently doing something intentional instead of ever getting to a point where we are drifting. We don't always have to be doing, 16-hour work days, hard, deep work constantly, but we do always have to be doing something intentional, right? We always want to be doing something intentional with our time. We never want to allow our time to just drift. We never want to allow our brains to just drift and waste time. And so therefore, developing habits throughout the day that when you're not working, you still have things to do, but that are intentional and engaging and that will help you to grow is key. So developing habits like reading, meditation, spending time outside, and exercising, all of these things can actually give us another outlet, another thing to do with our energy and time than just working all the time, but that will also keep us within a structured routine, that will keep us within an intentional routine. Having intentional habits is way better than falling into unconscious habits. And your brain craves structure. When you are in this disorganized, unstructured state, your brain is actually suffering, right? Because it is putting in more work and more effort to do something that it doesn't need to be doing. If you would just create routine, create structure, your brain loves this state. Your brain loves being able to predict what is next and just move through that as effortlessly as possible. And so yes, it's going to be difficult to go from where you're at to having a structured routine, but once you are there, it is so much easier to maintain that, and your brain will be healthier. You will be happier in that routine than you will ever be able to be when you are drifting constantly. Your brain likes to be able to predict what is happening next. Otherwise, it is going to be constantly thinking and analyzing what to do. Today, funny enough, I'm not on my routine today because I'm going to my girlfriend's house tonight. We're getting ready for our Florida trip. We're going to be flying out tomorrow. So my routine is slightly thrown off. The things that I'm doing after work today aren't the normal things in my routine. And I noticed this myself. My brain is actually kind of going a little bit crazy because it's trying to piece together how I'm going to organize the rest of my day, whereas normally it doesn't have to do that. And having structure, having a routine is key because it allows this for you. It allows your brain to have predictability for how the flow of your day is going to go, and that makes you much more effective at actually doing the things you need to do throughout it. And an unstructured life leads to drifting. When you are unstructured, you will be drifting. And as I said before, drifting is seeking for easy pleasure or stimulation as a result of your brain not being engaged. And so all you need is your brain to be more engaged. But when you're unstructured and you don't have a routine, you don't have a clear plan for how you're going to move throughout each day, well, you end up in more of a drifting state. You end up seeking easy stimulation, easy pleasure, because your brain isn't fixated on something to engage with. I didn't drift this morning because my brain knew that I was going to be coming here and that this was going to be a difficult task. And so it, instead of drifting, is focused and engaged on the work that I need to accomplish, that I need to complete. And therefore, I'm able to achieve more, and I'm able to be in a flow state as a result of that, because my brain is engaged here instead of being in this drifting state as a result of if I didn't come here or if I didn't have structure to this. If this was the first time I did this in 2 months, my brain would be trying to drift. It would be trying to pull me away from it because of the amount of resistance associated with doing something new. But because this is what I do every day, my brain doesn't drift. My brain knows that I will be engaged in this task at this time. So this is how structure will actually make you more effective. And the first thing is habits. When you have habits in your day that support your growth, self-improvement habits, it makes you just better at everything you do overall, right? Think about meditation, think about journaling, think about constantly being optimized for productivity, constantly being optimized for becoming the most capable, most intelligent, most strong version of yourself. And if all of your habits are optimized for this, when it comes to time to work, when it comes time to train, it makes these things much easier, and it makes it easier to progress within them, because everything else we do is supporting growth in our lives, is supporting our progress. And so the habits that we develop and maintaining these habits will be key in growth, and will be key in achieving our goals. The other thing is creating and developing a habit out of our ideal day. Creating a habit out of our ideal day means our most productive day is now a habit. We wake up and we trigger the habit through either our alarm clock, or we can trigger the habit through a morning routine. And that is the habit trigger. And then the habit stack is everything following that morning routine. And then the closer for that habit is the nighttime routine. And that is key, right? That is so valuable, because that means we are able to trigger the beginning of a habit, have a productive day, and then we end that at the end of the day when we finish our night routine and go to bed, right? Meaning each day we trigger the habit, and the habit is be productive from morning till night, meaning get all of what we need to get done in our most ideal day, in a full day. And by making a habit out of it, we make it automatic to follow this routine. This optimizes for more productivity and more output, because now you don't have to use mental energy to figure out what you're doing when you're doing it and how to do it, and you just are able to focus that same energy and that same effort on doing the thing. Next thing is consistency. Having a routine develops consistency. Because of the fact that I have a routine, I'm consistent in creating content, because every single morning I come out here and I create videos. And so that consistency has led me to be able to make a lot of progress in my journey over a shorter period of time. The next thing is 100% focus towards a specific goal. When we have a routine optimized for whatever our goal is, it puts us in a state of mind where we are 100% focused on progression towards that actual goal, right? We are 100% focused on progressing in that direction. And so therefore, we don't end up falling off. We don't end up, getting distracted as easily, because most of our day is dedicated towards this goal. And so therefore, most of our mind is wired towards this goal, right? When we live this lifestyle, we become wired in our brains to focus on and go and achieve this specific goal, whatever it may be. So the next thing is overcoming resistance and increasing output. So now, because we can show up without mental resistance, we increase our amount of output that we can actually put into the work, because of the fact that we're not, like I said before, we're not using this energy to get to the point where we're starting. We're only having to use this energy to actually progress and do the task and complete the task, right? So now I'm going to talk to you guys about how to create structure in your life. I'm going to teach you guys a step-by-step protocol for how you can actually create structure in your lives. The first thing is to set clear goals, all right? So set goals, but also set clear goals. They have to be tangible. They have to be definable. You have to be able to understand and comprehend them in order to be able to achieve them. So set clear goals, set measurable goals, right? Ones that you can actually see the outcome of. So if I want to be rich, I'm not going to set my goal as I'm going to be rich, right? I'm going to set my goal as I want 10K a month, I want 50K a month, I want 100K a month. Whatever that goal is, right? Whatever it is you'd like to achieve, you have to set the goal and make it specific, right? So, my current goal money-wise is 10K a month. And that is something that I can tangibly see. I can use a calculator to break down how many people inside of what kind of a program or what price my program would get me to that number, right? Versus if I say I want to get rich, I can't break that down with math. I can't break that down with actual facts, actual measurable details. And so therefore, it's way harder to progress towards it because there's no clear outcome. Then create a list of supporting habits and necessary tasks to achieve the goal. So from the goal, you create non-negotiables, which are tasks that you have to complete every single day in succession in order to achieve your goal. For me, my goal in snowboarding plus my goal in content creation leaves me with the two non-negotiables of training every single day and working on content every single day. These two things, if nothing else is done, these two things get done every single day. And then on top of that, you create a list of supporting habits. So my supporting habits are things like meditation, journaling. I do write deep work in my my habits list. Training is in my habits list. But then I have breath work, mobility and yoga. I have reading. I have stretching. All of these things are things that support my goal or support me making progress in a positive direction, just becoming a better version of myself, more complete version of myself. And so as a result, I make more progress towards my goals because I complete these habits on the side. My free time is spent on these habits. My work time is spent on progressing and moving the needle forward in specifically my business and my training. And that's it. And you organize it this way. And so now you can create a timetable or a daily routine that can actually optimize for you to stay in this flow and continue progressing towards that goal. Make it in such a way that you can actually follow it every day. Don't stack it to the point that you won't be able to actually follow through on it. Only stack it to the point that it is realistic for you to achieve it, and then go and follow through. Another thing you can do, by the way, if you have, changing factors throughout the week, you can create a weekly routine. I like Google Calendar for this. You can create a weekly routine instead of a daily routine. I just did this for myself. I went from a daily routine to now I'm doing a weekly routine. So I have 2 days where I'm recording the whole day, 3 days where I'm focused on training more, and 2 days where I'm focused on just writing. And, I have shorter training blocks on my recording and writing days. I have multiple training blocks and shorter work blocks on my training days, and longer training blocks as well. But the point is, essentially, you can create a weekly routine if that's optimized for your schedule. But the point is that it's the same either daily or it's the same weekly, and you just follow through on it. So the next thing is just following through and staying consistent. The only way that this actually works for you, the only way that this does something positive for you in your life, is by staying consistent, by actually doing it. If you don't follow through and you don't do the thing, then you cannot expect to actually see the progress. You cannot expect to see the results. So if you have a goal and you have a plan, but you don't follow the plan, you better not be expecting to achieve the goal. So staying consistent, staying focused, and this is a matter of knowing that you will slip, you will fuck up at times, it's fine. The important thing is that you stay on track or get back on track whenever you do fall off. So the moment you notice yourself fall off, just redirect yourself back to the next thing. If I wake up late one morning, let's say I wake up at 10 a.m. tomorrow, tomorrow I'm technically not on my routine, but I still have deep work scheduled and just the same, and I'm going to be waking up and I'm going to be working, but, let's say I wake up at 10 a.m. I'm not going to try to do my morning routine and then work and then stack all this stuff closer together. I'm just going to start from, 10 a.m. is normally my training. Obviously, I'm not home, so I'm not going to be training tomorrow. But if I was, 10 a.m. is my training, so I'm going to just start there. And then after I'm done training, I'm like, all right, I feel kind of better. I'm going to go eat, and then I'm going to go, my next block is work. And then you follow it from there, right? And then the next day you say, all right, I missed my morning routine and my work. I'm going to make sure I go to bed early, and I'm going to make sure I wake up on time next time. And that is how you stay consistent. That's how you stay focused, right? But that is all I have for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope it was actually very helpful. I found this helpful. I learned a lot from making this video, funny enough. But I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it was helpful. If it was, go ahead and leave a like and a comment down below letting me know what you may have learned from this video. For those who want to see more content like this, just go ahead and press the subscribe button. And anybody who wants to become the best of the best at what they do or take their self-improvement to the next level, or if you want me to teach you directly how to create a routine like this and a structure like this and help you to implement it, you can join the Academy of Self-Mastery. It will be a perfect program for you. So if that's something you're interested in, go and check out my Instagram, send me a DM there. But other than that, that's all I got for this video, and I'm out of here. Peace.